This whole area was a fucking battlefield a year ago. Like, I was fighting to fucking stay alive. Just getting across that field and getting into fucking shelter. Like a year ago today. It's fucking nuts, man. So when we came in, we came along this raised up berm. So this whole area was not overgrown how you see it. And we came in and we would rest right here. We actually rested right here. We rested here to regroup. And then we pushed along this side of the berm for cover and concealment. And as we started moving, so we've left our Ukrainian village to the north and we're now heading south. And this is at dark, right? So it's pitch black. And we're moving this way very carefully. And we were all the way down there. And I remember this. I remember these trees. We would take positions underneath these trees. And we would take intermediate breaks because the front element of the team, they were sweeping for mines. So right over there, there's a little raised up road. We're going to go on that road here in a second. We're not going to go through the field because it's fucking mine still. But we came in through that way. You can see the vegetation right there on the left. So part of the team went left along that vegetation and we came up on the road. And a couple guys came up there. What you see right there, that used to be a fighting position. And they came in and they secured the fighting position. There were no Russians in there. So we came in, my team, and 30 of the guys came this way. About 5 of the dudes came here, secured this fighting position, and they met us up along this roadway. So once they secured this position, and it got radioed up that, you can see right there the entrance to the fucking fighting position. Once they secured that position, they came up onto the road, and we were actually down here in this vegetation somewhere. And we were clearing booby traps. So we had grenades on sticks with tripwires. We had straight up anti-personnel mines all in this area. And I think in this area right here, it actually looks, we came up through here. So there was a booby trap right here. They cleared it. The other guys, they came from, when they secured that position, they came along the road, along this tree line. This is exactly 1 year ago today. So everywhere you see how all this stuff looks is actually how it kind of looked then. So we came up through here, and I was actually near the back half of the stack. So in the third, like the 3/4 of the way through the stack. And we come along here, we're not going to get too far onto the fucking ground, but we were all the way on this tree line, hugging this tree line, center file, coming up here. All this was already destroyed already. And we had guys had cleared that area. And we come up, and about right here, you can see, this is where we saw the fucking tank. So we come up here, this is all still destroyed. Like, this literally looks like how it looked a year ago. So we came here, and that house right there, that's where the fucking tank was. So our team split. Half the guys went on the left side of the road, the other half came on the right side of the road. And this was right as dawn broke, so like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Guys came here, guys cleared that house, which actually was more standing than it is now. And then we cleared this house. So you see right where the fucking barrier is? We had a fucking tank pointing at us. There's a BMD 4 right here. Right there on that bedpost was the fucking hat. So I fucking took the hat, pocketed that real quick. This is where the Russians were sleeping, man. God damn, bro. Look at this. Ouch. So they were inside here sleeping. 2 Russians. And we went through here and we fucking snatched their asses out of the bed. None of this debris was on the ground. None of this was blown up or anything. So, like, we were freely walking through this stuff. Be very fucking careful, man. I'm out here. So, the morning of August 18th last year, I was here, standing right where I was. We had a BDM-4 tank that was right there. I was looking for something to jam the barrel because we were going to push further through the town until we captured these guys, and then the team decided to pull out of the town because we didn't have enough guys to go against 200 VDV. But it would have been a problem if the other team didn't get delayed by a minefield. We would have been here at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we could have just gone house to house to house to house and just fucking slit guys in while they slept. Dude, just fucking A. Careful where you put your feet. The dudes were sleeping in this house. There were 2 guys in this house, and we snatched up both of their. They were asleep. Like, the dudes came out. I'll show you the video. I have the video of us escorting. Well, part of our team escorting them back.
Вон, блядь, Ваньки-встаньки, нахуй.
I need you to move out of the way because I don't want to put any weight on this mattress. Don't put any weight on anything, like doors or anything. Like a air raid sort of thing. They just dug it into the ground. This house. All these fucking ammo cans, man. Slava what? Oh, VDV. Fucking hey, man. Glory to the airborne. Yeah, there were airborne forces here. The elite. The super elite. The guys, like, you could see out this window and... Watch out. You could see out this window. I'm not going to stand on top of this fucking mattress. But I see down the street. Like here, a machine gun position definitely was here. You can see down the street. So I'm standing here. We had a BMD-4 airborne tank here. Our team members come out of the house. They have 2 Russian POWs. The 2 guys that were asleep in the house. I'm standing right here. They cross in front of me with the 2. They had the POWs here. They were questioning the POWs for a minute. And then they, so they're questioning the POWs. They find out that there's like 200 VDV in the village. And we're like, okay, we're going to fucking bounce out of here. It's already too late in the morning. The sun's already coming up. And we don't have the manpower to get into a prolonged fight. You know, mission had changed. And this is back then when the team I was with wasn't as flexible as they are now. I mean, we've learned a lot, you know, since then. So I'm standing here. I'm looking for like a rock, an actual rock that will fit in the barrel, and I could jam the barrel of the weapon. So if we have to leave, we can leave, and they won't be able to really use that tank. And it was better than just blowing it up because we were trying to be stealthy. So I'm standing right here, and a dude, he's in the middle of the fucking road with the RPG. He starts, like, we hear shouting coming down the village. He shouts. The guy, he's standing right there. He shouts. He lowers his RPG, has a frag round in it, and he fires this thing off. The second he fires this thing off, we start hearing sporadic fire from inside the village. So we're like, fuck it, it's time to go. I'm the last guy here. Like, my team commander's on the roadway already. A couple other guys are putting down some suppressing fire on the road. Everybody else is running out of the village. I am the last man here. So I come out here, I have my AK, I aim down the street, and I start firing off half a mag. Come back around, get in the roadway here, AK on the right. I see guys running across the street, running to different houses. Start engaging, boom, 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 boom. Out of ammo. My team commander, he's right here. He's firing as I'm running past him. So my team commander, he's laying suppressing fire. I'm the last guy to leave the village. My team commander's right there. I stop. I spin around. I take out the bull spike. The BDM-4 is right there. I aim right at the turret. I fire the bull spike. It fucking hit the turret. I see it explode off the turret. By this time, my team commander is already parallel to where I am. He saw what I did. And he's like, Yuri, good. And he's like, Yuri, take. And he hands me another bull spike rocket. I look back. I can see the smoldering hole on the BDM turret. I was like, all right. I thought it would like start catching on fire. I really debated putting that second bull spike into it, but by this time I'm already having rounds snapping past me. So we take off running. Me, my team, so I'm right here on the right side of the road, or left side of the road. Team commander's right there on the right side of the road. He and I are both full dead-on sprint. Run. I'm looking over at him, making sure like he's still running with me. He looks over at me a couple times. Like I'm prepared to hopefully he doesn't catch a round, because rounds are now coming down this avenue, snapping near us. So we run, get to this point, we cut through this area. And we go through this field, basically along that roadway, and then right over there, there's the canal. Go through the canal. I suppress the PKM gunner from the house over here. Go through the canal, get up onto that roadway, and we start making our way north to the Ukrainian lines. So this is the back side of the house that we assaulted, and when we left along that road, and we went across that section of the field, and right there where you see that roadway, it's raised. It's raised a bit. That's the raised road. And there's the canal over there. We crossed the canal and went along that road. But there is the house. So inside this house was a PKM gunner. The house was intact back then. There was a PKM gunner, and you can see his line of sight from that window to where we were approaching. So he was lighting us up as we were running through that field. So we're running through this field right here. On the other side of that foliage, running, getting to the canal, jumping over the canal, getting onto that road, and running north to where the Ukrainian positions were. And that machine gunner was started suppressing us. So I spin around, and I have my AKM, and I bring it up, and I see the muzzle flash from the PKM, and I just start shooting the fucking window. And the PKM gunner stopped shooting. The guys get across the canal. There's 3 guys stuck in the bottom of the canal. I jump over the canal, and on the side of the canal wall, I just hang on. And then I let 2 of the guys climb up me. And as I get back over to the other side, I had already reloaded my AK on this side of the canal. And when I got back over to the other side of the canal, I come back and I start shooting at that window again. And then I just start walking off. We'll go over there. We will have to go through the village and then get on that road. Because there's no way in fuck I'm going to go through that field just to make content, as it's still not cleared. But you have a fighting position here. Again. And I think that's a mine right there. Look, that green thing. So again, fighting position. This is the road we came into the village in, right? Fighting position. 40 guys. Fighting position. Russian airborne. Elite. No one was pulling security. We came into this village. We damaged one of their tanks. We stole 2 of their fighters from their bed. 1 guy pulling security here. Even if he was like half asleep while we're coming into the village, when the firefight started, he could have mowed us down as we left. Even if the guy wasn't manning the position, awake at the time when we snuck into the village, the commotion of us leaving, he could have gotten onto position and mowed us down as we left. Again, that window, this roadway, that window, this roadway. We took out the 2 guys that were asleep in the building, but when we were in villages and we were doing shit in villages behind enemy lines, we had anywhere between 50 to 75% on guard, and everybody else was just resting. Like, we would have had somebody watching out this window, and then he would have seen guys coming in. Right where you see the road turn, that's actually where the tank shell exploded. But for obvious reasons, we're no longer pushing more forward of this position. These are anti-personnel mines. Yeah, we're not fucking around with this shit. So what originally happened is, so all the way down there was where we took the tank shell that killed the 2 people directly behind me, and then the 1 other guy. And then the rest of our team, we kept on running this way. So right where those power lines are, basically on the other side of that's the village. And just because of the mine threat right now, so we kept on running this way, and we actually cut across this berm, and right over here is the trench. So when the tank fired at us, killed the 2 guys behind me, threw me onto the ground. I really wanted to get onto that side of the village to show you guys, but that's literally going to have to wait until this area gets completely demined. For obvious reasons, we're going to go back the same way we came, because we know we've passed enough of these markers of unexploded ordnance to know that they've cleared this far. They probably cleared even further, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it with my friend. I'm not going to risk it with myself. But yeah, this is where I was. You guys see where we assaulted the village. It's probably going to be, next year, or, in the summertime or something. Or I can get some kind of mine clearing device to just push through this area in order to show you guys where it was, where the tank almost killed me. And then we came running up this way. We kind of stayed on this side of the berm. We cut over on this berm. We cut across to where the trench is, and then we went all the way north to our village. This is the brush. So this is the brush that I was crashing through, worming my way through, because we were taking heavy fire on either side, and I didn't want to get up and over the berm. And since we were taking direct fire, the best thing to do is just keep moving. So I actually wormed my way through all this thicket, and I actually rested right here. And I rested right here, and we heard the drone above us. And I was looking up, and this was our drone, but we had no idea it was our drone. And I didn't find out until afterwards, and they gave me the still photo from it. But I had no idea it was our drone. So there's a photo of me looking up right from this position, trying to look for the drone. We stopped for a minute to catch a breath, drink water, and this is where I was just waiting until our next move. And then further on down the trench, so this is also where the team wanted to break up. They're like, hey, we want to stay here because, you know, you see just how kind of overgrown this area is. It provided a little bit more concealment to them. And I wanted to keep going through here and go down that direction, but they didn't want to. I stood up. I could see the village from where we are. We're like a kilometer and a half away. And I was like, no, I want to go. I don't want to stay here tonight. So right up there, that you see the little stork nest thing? That's approximately near where the guy got injured. You got this fucking tornado round right there. Massive fucking rocket. So a lot of this burning stuff, I see a lot of this along the areas that were occupied. It seems that the Ukrainians, you know, recently, this is, you know, probably within weeks ago, they're doing demining over there. We got to be careful because, you know, still unexploded ordnance and stuff. But it looks like they lit all these fields on fire to help destroy the unexploded ordnance. So if there was no fire here, you'd see a lot more vegetation. They wanted to stay here, and that's how close we are to the village. And I was like, no, I'm going to go to the village. I'm not going to waste my time staying here. And then further down the trench is where I found Alex alive. I picked him up and I carried him to the house. So this whole area, this field, the village, everything was just getting fucking bombed. So he was actually laying right here. So I'm coming along this canal from this direction, so south. That Maximinska's this way. He's laying literally right here. He's laying down right here. I don't know if he got injured here or he got injured back there and made his way here, but he was literally laying right here. And then that's the house. So out in front of that house was the ambulances. So I'm coming along this way. I see him laying here. I see Alex laying here. I think he's dead because I'm further down in the trench when I see him just lying. And I come running up and I get to him and I was like, you know, hey, are you alive? Are you okay? And he just looks up at me and like he's moving his eyes. We got artillery falling in this field. We got artillery falling in the village itself. The ambulances had just shown up right there, right? And I look up and I was like, hey, I see ambulances. I'm gonna go get them. I'll be right back. So I crawl out of the trench. I run across this field. I get to the fence and I start shouting at the ambulance driver. I was like, hey, we got a wounded Ukrainian in the field. And they're like, hey, we got to go. So I was like, okay, you know, come back for me. Go. Because they're getting shelled. The field's getting shelled. I take off all my gear except for my Peltors and my iPro. And I come running all the way back here. So we are about 3.5, 4 kilometers away from the Russian position. And the only thing that they're using against us is artillery, and artillery with submunitions. So I get here, I go to the house, I drop off all my stuff, I come running back through this field, jump back on top of, like literally come into here. I'm on top of him, and right as I get on top of him, this side of the field starts getting shelled. The house gets shelled, we're getting shelled, we got explosions. You got that crater right there? Like, I mean, we were getting fucking hit hard. I give it a few minutes, I give it about a minute or so until the explosions die down. I take off his battle belt, I grab him, I put him into a fireman carry. You see how steep this is. Luckily, this guy was a very small framed dude. So I have him in a fireman carry. I come up, I'm out of the trench. I mean, you got a fucking crater right here, man. Look at this. With shrapnel. So, I got him on my back, and I'm running now. I'm now booking it across this field. I'm running. Artillery's now firing and working in the city. You look at all this fucking pieces of shrapnel. Like here, all this right here. Here. This is all within a few feet. All of this. Just to give you an idea, another piece, even a smaller piece right here. No, that's a rock. Parts of the submunitions, the cassettes. So I'm running. I got him on my back, and I'm about right here. So right there, there's where you see our car. That's the road. Back up a little. So I'm right here. I have him on my back, and the fucking ambulance just drives right past. And I'm fucking shouting. I'm waving. The dude fucking just books it. So he goes, gets onto the road, and drives on. He didn't see me at all. I'm carrying him. More fucking shrapnel. I get to just about right around here. My legs start to give out. So I slide him off my back. I grab him by the belt. I have his arm around my neck. And we start to move here. So I'm dragging him. See? Oh, we can't go inside. You guys just see. So we get inside here. It looks like somebody lives here because it's got a razor out here, water. But this is the house. So we go in. Immediately coming in, there's this patio room right here, and it spans the entire length of this wall. Through this door, there's a second set of doors. In that door is a narrow hallway, and then on the right side is a bigger, like, family room thing, and then on the left side is a smaller room. If you keep going along here and you go to the end of the wall and take a right, that's a kitchen. And then from that smaller room, there was another room back there that occupied the back part of the house. And that's where he and I stayed as this area just gets shelled. But first thing I did, here you go, for you.
You see the impact?
Yeah. This whole area was just blown apart. Like, you can see the trees were all destroyed. This was done before we got here, but we still had rounds impacting in front of us and behind us, and we could feel just the house shake. This garage was opened, and that's actually where my team was holed up, and then some of them were held up in this house. And fuck. So I leave the house, I go back, run all the way back to the trench. I grab all this guy's equipment, and come back to the house, drop it all off. Then I go into the village itself to go get help to get him to the hospital. So artillery starts falling down right here. You guys can see just the shrapnel. Everything got fucking hit. After about 2 hours, I don't hear any more artillery. Come out this way. I come over here. And the ambulances were actually parked right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then there was another one behind the house. I walk through this way, I walk down that road, and then I come into the main part of the village, and you see that large second-story house, or that second-story building. That's where the Ukrainians were held up. And I made my way this way, all the way to the back of the village, and then over. So a few things that I had learned since the first video was made a year ago was that there were actually 3 people behind me that were killed. The 2 immediately behind me, which I saw, and then there was actually a third guy who was on the other side of where the tank shell exploded, where he died. Other things that I had found out while we were inside this village that day was we had spoken to a resident who remembers that assault. And one thing that he had told us while we were talking with him was that after that assault, the BMD-4 tank that I had shot at was actually seen being towed out of the village. So I did, in fact, damage the turret of the vehicle. So much so that it required to be towed. I hope you guys enjoyed and got a sense of what it was like for me a year ago, fighting for my life in this village. This one mission, I credit to what had changed everything. After this one mission, after I came back from the dead, just walking back into the apartment that I shared with a majority of my team, after being marked as KIA, and after the team itself was planning a recovery mission for that night, that evening, to go back into these fields to look for and recover my body and any other bodies that might have been out there. This changed everything. My commander took more interest in me. I was able to talk to him. I had shown him back in the States, I'd actually manufactured my own Browning machine gun. Well, it's a semi-automatic rifle, so, or not even it's a rifle, it's classified as a semi-automatic weapon, 50 BMG. And just showed him that. A few weeks later, I did a few more missions with my reconnaissance unit after this mission. I was unscathed completely. Most of the other guys within my unit itself had taken some form of shrapnel damage. So from this mission on, I was basically utilized in all those other missions because our manpower was reduced just from this mission. So that, coupled with my commander taking an interest in me, and when he was having issues with their Brownings on the Humvees, he came to me and I was able to correct those issues. And that is what had started putting me in the turrets of the Humvees. So basically it was because of not only surviving this mission, but carrying a wounded Ukrainian, taking out Russian armor, suppressing, allowing the rest of the Ukrainians to get out of the village. Like every Ukrainian that was part of the team, part of my team who was out there fighting with us, all they had was just, Yuri is just this badass guy. He suppressed the machine gun position for us. He took out the tank. He made sure that everybody else was moving, because I was at the end of the line, the end of the group as we were getting out of that village, and I made sure everybody else was getting out before me. And I was the last one who had crossed over from that field, over that canal, and up onto that road. So this had just started, you know, my commander taking more of an interest in who I was and what I was capable of doing for the team, all because of this one mission.